Good morning. The special meeting of the Cook County Board of Commissioners will come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Beavers? Here. Commissioner Butler? Here. Commissioner Collins? Here. Commissioner Daly? Here. Commissioner Fritchie? Here. Commissioner Gaynor? Here. Commissioner Garcia? Here. Commissioner Gorman? Commissioner Goslin? Here. Commissioner Murphy? Here. Commissioner Reyes? Here. Commissioner Snyder? Here. Commissioner Silvestri? Here. Commissioner Sims? Here. Commissioner Still? Commissioner Sufferton? Here. Commissioner Tobolsky? Here. Madam President, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Would Commissioner Snyder please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please read the call of the meeting into the record?
Toni Preckwinkle, President of the Cook County Board of Commissioners, has directed me to call a special meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Cook County on Tuesday, February 1st, 2011, at the hour of 9 a.m. in the Cook County Board Meeting 569, Cook County Building 118 North Clark, Chicago, Illinois, for the presentation of the message of the President of the Board of Cook County Commissioners submitting the executive budget for the fiscal year of 2011.
Thank you very much. I would like to say a special word of thanks to all the countywide elected officials who came together starting back in November to begin the challenge of filling a $487 million deficit and preparing a balanced budget. Thank you to the members of my administration who have been working tirelessly for the last 2 months. I'm here today to present our fiscal year 2011 budget to the Cook County Board of Commissioners and to once again reaffirm my commitment to working with them to restore fiscal responsibility within county government. In my inaugural address, I promised that I would measure my administration by 4 key tenets: fiscal responsibility, innovative leadership, transparency and accountability, and improved services. That's a commitment that I'm determined to keep with your help. Today, I present you a budget measured by those same principles. On November 18th, I called a meeting inviting 11 countywide elected officials to begin the discussion around the $487 million budget deficit we faced. This deficit is greatly impacted by fixed costs, such as pensions, health insurance, and workers' compensation that require long-term structural changes. That challenge meant that each of us, as countywide elected officials, must find 16% in savings in our offices, and do so with a focus on operating costs in the budget equation. This document is the product of a team of professionals from across the county that includes my fellow elected officials, department administrators, and employees. The proposed budget represents the first step of a restructuring of county finances and a long-term plan that will address the structural deficit and lay the groundwork for the rollback of the sales tax increase. It's through a commitment to this collaborative process that we have been able to make historic changes in this budget, all in the interest of building a sustainable financial future for the county. At our initial meetings with elected officials, I asked each of them to cut their operating budget by 16%. And I knew this wasn't going to be easy. However, I'm pleased to tell you that by working together, we successfully reached a 15% reduction in operations supported by general funds and special select funds. While these cuts are significant, they were done with consideration and compassion for the services that we provide to our residents. For example, the public defender effectively articulated the negative impact that a 16% in reduction would produce in his office. That too many would be left without legal representation. We agreed that we could reach 10%. The same standard was offered to and met by the state's attorney. This was in part made possible by the Cook County Health and Hospital System under the leadership of Bill Foley, which was able to pledge a 21% reduction in their subsidy. This is the result of expediting the implementation of their strategic plan, which was already in place. This past weekend, my staff and I worked with Sheriff Tom Dart and his staff on a solution that would reduce his budget, but allow him the flexibility he needs to run the county jails and protect our residents. The sheriff has agreed to cut his budget by 12% and to contribute to our effort towards solving the budget challenge. We're committed to working together to identify efficiency and cost-saving initiatives throughout the criminal justice system. Our two offices will begin a joint task force to address issues involving employee absences and the use of family and medical leave by county personnel. I will also look for ways to streamline county operations by pursuing shared service opportunities and working to eliminate layers of management. These initiatives reflect our commitment to cutting spending without impacting the county's ability to carry out its mission of providing quality services to Cook County residents. As I've said before, no one will be alone and no one will be absolved. For that same reason, I was determined that the President's office would lead by example as we worked through this financial crisis. In the Office of the President, we made a 17% cut to the overall operating budget. Within my own office, we cut staff by 30%. We reduced non-personnel costs by 51%. And on top of that, I took a 10% pay cut. However, this budget proposal isn't just about cutting operating budgets. It's also about instituting the structural changes that will increase efficiencies and promote fiscal responsibility throughout the county for years to come. We targeted the historically most inefficient departments, like the Highways Department. We reviewed their budgets, the way in which they utilized personnel, the way they ran their offices, and then we made recommendations to improve the way each department was run. We asked our department administrators to identify inefficiencies and make short and long-term plans to remediate them. As we make cuts to wasteful government spending, we've also worked to identify new fiscally responsible initiatives for the county. First, the county will aggressively pursue late and unpaid taxes. In particular, we're going to go after those businesses not paying county cigarette taxes. Secondly, currently buyers in foreclosure sales pay fees to private companies to complete judicial asset sales. Now the sheriff will take a prominent role in providing this service and collecting the associated revenues. Third, we have identified certain services, such as those provided by the law library, where we will increase fees to match the costs. Lastly, some of the revenue projections reflect closing tax loopholes, such as charging the luxury tax to box seats at sporting events. However, just by pursuing the revenues that the county is owed, we can bring in roughly $19 million in new funds in 2011. In order to make investments to improve county operations, the county is restructuring its outstanding debt obligations to smooth its payments due. The net present value of this restructuring is approximately $60 million. It is not enough simply to cut government. We have to rethink the way it works. Take, for example, the President's office, my own office. It exemplified the county's lack of budget controls. The President's office proper was allocated $2.3 million last year. However, upon walking in the door, we realized that they were actually spending $2.9 million. That means in order to make our 17% cut, we had to cut $1 million from our budget. Needless to say, moving forward, the budget controls we put in place will be non-negotiable. What is budgeted for a certain office is what will be spent, and it's our goal to have departments that come in under budget at the end of the year. The planning process for future county budgets must include meaningful, objective performance measures. I'm taking the lead in this process to ensure that the county is accountable for the tax dollars that fund our budget and the functions we must provide for the public. Each county agency and department will be required to prepare a quarterly report in which it establishes measurable goals and articulates how it is meeting those goals. Grants, fees, staffing levels, benefits, salaries, and capital projects, these are important items that relate to our county's financial situation, both on the revenue and expenditure sides of the budget equation. We're setting up a new system in which these items will be reviewed on a regular basis so they can be assessed, monitored, and incorporated into the budget. You cannot manage without measuring first. This performance management effort is about improving services. Businesses and municipalities have implemented similar programs and have had great success in improving services to customers and residents. In my inaugural address, I pledge that the fiscal year budget for 2011 will include a commitment to reduce the sales tax by 0.25% in 2012 and 0.25% in 2013. I remain committed to that pledge, and I'm currently working with fellow board members to introduce such an amendment to the 2011 budget. But we must break the habits that got us here. We must build a new foundation to stabilize our finances. Right now, we're already in the middle of the first quarter of fiscal year 2011, and I'm proposing a budget. When I took office, there was no working budget, no draft of a financial plan, nothing. As I've said before, this is simply a bad practice. That's why, as soon as we pass the fiscal year 2011 budget, we'll begin work on next year's. In previous years, the budget was developed over a period of 6 months. It's a time-consuming process and will take many months to overhaul the budget process and build it in a way that incorporates the new initiatives we've developed. A critical component of this performance-based management and budget, which aims to add transparency, accountability, and fiscal responsibility to the budget practices. It involves a process that all county elected officials, agencies, bureaus, and departments must complete each year. This process requires that each county agency and department prepare a quarterly report that defines its mission and establishes measurable goals for achieving the desirable results for those who benefit from its services. Foremost, the taxpayers who fund these services. These metrics will be used to measure progress. Businesses and municipalities have implemented similar programs and have great success with improving services to their clients. The county has long been in need of a comprehensive desk audit. We have employees who lack job titles or who have titles that do not match their job description. In some cases, employees do not even have formal job descriptions. Our administrators can't determine redundancies or how to best utilize their resources without this basic information. We have engaged a pro bono consultant to begin working on a comprehensive desk audit of the 2,000 employees under the President's purview, and we hope to expand this effort across the county. The report that is generated by this project will give us the ability to right-size the organization, specifically in terms of the ratio of managers to employees, and we're starting in the President's office. This critical initiative will be completed within the first 100 days in my office, and already the Treasurer has announced a desk audit, and we're hopeful that other elected officials will do so as well. The county spends tens of millions of dollars on purchasing and procurement. In the 2011 budget, we estimate we can save $12 million alone by contingency contracting, improving the way our organization is designed and the process by which we purchase materials and services while embracing our commitment. Bless you. Bless you. Our commitment to partnering with minority and women-owned vendors. We're making county government leaner and meaner by increasing efficiency, cross-training to give personnel a more diverse skill set, and asking our employees to do more. We're going to refocus the county's core mission and the services we provide to residents, and then build on the foundation of county government. These are the steps we must take and follow through on if we're going to change the culture in the county. I want a county that promotes opportunity and innovation and demands responsibility and accountability. At cookcountyillinois.gov, we have posted the full budget, a budget summary, and a schedule of the upcoming budget hearings. To the Board of Commissioners, let me further say that I want to work with all of you. I realize this is a challenging situation, but we must address it. We cannot continue this spending without control, managing without measure. We can do better, and I know that you are willing to work with us to do better. Thank you very much. Would the clerk please reflect that we've been joined by Commissioner Steele?
Madam
Commissioner
President,
Daley.
Madam President, pursuant to the statutes of the State of Illinois, Chapter 55, Article 6, I move that the 2011 executive budget for Cook County, as submitted by the Office of the President, be referred to the Committee of Finance.
It's been made and seconded that this be referred to the Committee on Finance. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Commissioner Daley.
Madam President, I move that we adjourn.
The motion is not debatable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Thank you.
9:40. No, we have.